Have you taken it because you've been at Bradford all your life?
Yeah, and you know, some people might be fed up of me being at Bradford at things like that, but there's also the challenge at Bradford as well. Maintaining a high performance team for over a number of 10-11 years now is not done by accident, and there are certain principles and rules and philosophies that's gone into that in respect of what we do and what we don't do, and you know, those philosophies we're trying to maintain now.
Brian Noble, understandably, keeping his cards a little close to the chest. Wigan, if he is on his way there, have lost earlier today. They've beaten by Harlequins 30 points to 18. Salford ran Leeds Rhinos close but lost 24-18, and Hull got the better of Wakefield 36-24. So what does that mean as far as the table is concerned? The Saints are in action later against Catalan. Leeds, well, they've closed to within 2. Castleford have slipped beneath the Catalan Dragons to next to bottom of the table, and well, Warrington can make a little bit of ground ahead of the Huddersfield-Bradford game tomorrow. There are a couple of matches still to complete the Monday programme. This one and Catalan against St Helens coming up a little later on, and that will just leave Bradford against Huddersfield at 8 o'clock tomorrow to complete the round, and it is round 10, remember. Lee Briers is back for Warrington, and that is good news for supporters of the Wolves. He was missing from the match at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium on Friday when Warrington were beaten by Salford. They're in search of a 4th win in a row away from home, but Paul Cullen must be tearing his hair out. They've lost 4 from 5 at home. And there he goes, the Warrington coach, to take his place in the stand on the far side. Castleford Tigers, 4 successive defeats, including one against Widnes in the Cup, just 3 wins from 9. They're in the bottom 2 again, beaten at Wakefield on Friday. They'll be desperate for a victory here. It is a passionate place, the Jungle. The supporters are very close to the touchline. They always make a lot of noise. And tonight, Steve-O, the Tigers supporters have a big job to do to lift this team against a Lee Briers-inspired Warrington.
It won't be easy, as you mentioned. Warrington, they play, or seem to anyway, when they're away from their homeland. And you also mentioned the fact that Lee Briers is back. Paul Cullen will be extremely happy with that. But the inconsistencies that they have shown throughout this year, very much a yo-yo side. Castleford, well, they were odds-on favourites, weren't they, to finish at the bottom of a pile. That's what all the bookies said, that they would be relegated. They've shocked a couple of people already this year. But the interesting factor about Terry Mattison, he brings back Brad Davies again. He will be very close to being one of the oldest ever to play in Super League. He certainly did his job last year, and I'm sure that he will acquit himself quite well this late afternoon kickoff. But it won't be easy for them. They've got to get off to a very, very good start. They also have been coming up with far too many errors, and it's whether they can just get those consecutive sets of 6.
Well, the Castleford Tigers will be, and Warrington will be under the control of Richard Silverwood, the match referee. And the Tigers have in fact shipped in 60 tries in 9 Super League rounds so far. They have got Super League's worst defence. But before this game gets underway, there will be a minute's silence for a sponsor and a member of the Tigers Supporters Club, Mr. Ted Kelly, who died during the trip to Carcassonne with the Tigers last week. It was for the game, of course, against the Catalan Dragons down there, and the players and the supporters here will just offer a minute's quiet to remember Mr. Ted Kelly, as I say, a sponsor and a member of the Castleford Tigers Supporters Club. He would have been here today.
Everyone in the Castleford Tigers would like to offer their condolences to Ted's family at this sad time.
So the minute's silence observed, and Terry Matteson, the Castleford Tigers coach. Well, they haven't played here at home since the 26th of March. They were beaten then by Huddersfield by 22 points to 36. Warrington, who will get this game underway in the second or two. In the last round, they completed back-to-back wins at Onslow for the first time in 26 years. They beat Bradford 22-18, but they have lost at home to Salford twice. Well, that's no disgrace in 2006. And also Catalan and St Helens. And immediately there is a first-minute penalty against Warrington. Let's just take a look at the way the Tigers line up, though. Michael Platt returns at full-back. Then they've got Wayne Price, Paul Franze, Gravian and Luke Dyer in the three-quarters. It's Ryan McGoldrick, and at 38 he is the oldest player ever in Super League, Brad Davis. Then the front row goes Danny Ward, Andy Henderson, Danny Nutley. It's Richard Fioso and Willie Manu in the second row, with Dion Bird at loose forward. And on the bench, young Andy Kane, Ben Rorty, Craig Hubie, and last but by no means least, Matt Whitaker. It's Castleford who are in possession inside the Warrington half of the field, and this team will try and defend this set of six. Gross, Farfili, Martin Gleeson alongside Coe Love, and on the other wing it's Stuart Reardon. And it's Lee Breers back after injury, with Michael Sullivan, Chris Bridges out injured. Lightfall, Mark Gleeson gets the place of John Clark at hooker, Paul Wood, Logan Swan, Mike Wainwright, and Paul Noon takes the place of Ben Westwood, who is dropped. Clark on the bench, Rob Parker, Paul Rahihi, the New Zealand international, and Simon Grix will make his Super League debut when he gets on.
Beautiful tackle there by Paul Franze. Really did get the impact. Bang! Luke Dyer over the top. But it was a big centre, Franze, that made the impact. It's a dropout. Plenty of pressure for the Warrington Wolves. He'll be happy with that with Terry Matteson.
Lee Breers with the dropout, gets over the halfway line, and underneath it was Ryan McGoldrick. And here is Danny Nutley, and quite a tale about Danny Nutley, of course. Cronulla's Player of the Year last year, a major coup for the Tigers. He had 3 years at Warrington, and I bet if there is one fixture on the list this year that Danny Nutley had marked down, it was this one in round 10 against the Warrington Wolves. Now they drive it forward, Castleford, with the Tongan international Willie Manu. That could be dangerous. The legs came up, but the referee Richard Silverwood doesn't blow the whistle. And dancing away from dummy half is Andy Henderson, the Scottish international, last year's captain. Had a major influence in getting the Tigers back to Super League. And they'll try and spread this wide, and they do. That's Fioso. Good offload. There's a man on the outside as well, but Luke Dyer is wrestled to the ground on the last tackle, played untidily to say the least, and a dab through, but Brent Gross watching it all the way.
Pretty good position there by Warrington fullback Brent Gross, and
a good run as well.
Tremendous to get them over the 30-metre mark. So important. If you can get to anywhere near the halfway line on your second and third tackle, you've got to be in the ascendancy.
That's the way it shapes up over the years between these two. Certainly Warrington enjoying the better of things at this level. This is Mark Gleeson now, restored to the starting lineup, and he's an effervescent young man. Breers, good ball, finds Logan Swan. Swan through the hole, couldn't get the pass away though. Important tackle by Danny Nutley. Mark Gleeson on the last tackle. Breers stabs the kick in. Michael Sullivan's after this. The bounce has beaten him. So near for Warrington.
And a really fast start to this game from both sides, and I suppose it's important when you're playing your second game in a 3-day period that you begin well. Both teams conscious of the fact that they would like to be in front on the scoreboard, hoping that that momentum and enthusiasm will carry them home. Some good kicks from both sides, but at the moment, with the exception of Brad Davis's kicks, I think both sides will be slightly disappointed. There's the ball though, with Swan going through. Support play not quite there when he wanted it.
Castleford in possession. Tackle number 3, this set of 6. Henderson, Danny Ward, brought into the Tigers from the Leeds Rhinos, of course. Played in the last couple of grand finals, has Danny Ward. McGoldrick on the charge forward was Dion Bird. Clattered to the ground, gets up a little bit gingerly, and the kick by Davis is high, and Gross is underneath it. Oh, it's taken out of his grasp, almost off the head of the Castleford player. It was Dyer, And Gross is hurt in that.
Well, he certainly fell awkward, did the fullback Brent Gross, and he's receiving treatment down in back play. You can see on the right-hand side a very powerful start from the Tigers, but they've gone for the grapple, they've gone too high. There's the fullback Gross. Doesn't look too well at the moment. Well, that was silly play for Hoso. Just this is where Gross comes through, and yeah, the impact from the head from Luke Dyer did everything right. Nothing.
Do you think he was really contesting that ball?
At least, well, if it hits his head, then he must have had his eyes on it.
This is Wainwright now for Warrington. 5 minutes gone. Brian Noble has moved from the studio and is alongside us here in the commentary box. A bright start, Brian.
Yeah, it's been end-to-end, hasn't it? And that's what you find at Castleford. They're coming out of their own half with low-risk plays. That'll be Ward and Nutley making sure they find their fronts and finding kick and field positions. That's really the way that they want to play. Dummy half running is big for them as well. The really exciting person is Mark Gleeson for the Warrington Wolves. He can create things out of dummy half, and they'll be looking to play through Breers to get Logan Swan on the fringes.
Here is Lee Breers. There's the ball on the inside to Paul Wood, and Logan Swan is a dummy half. Now they've lined themselves up out here, and they've found Gleeson, they found Farfili, and Henry Farfili has scored try number 11 of the season for him. Prior to today, they'd only scored 32 times, and Farfili had scored 10 of them, incredibly. And Farfili has just come up with the first points of the match. A try against the Bulls, a try at Salford on Friday. He's only failed to score against Wakefield this year when they came back to win 22-21.
Good work, solid in the forwards to get them into the middle and create the overlap. Not the best from Wayne Price, is in no man's land there. You can see had to take the centre, Martin Gleeson. It's a walking for Farfili. Good basic rugby league football.
Farfili gets plenty of those, doesn't he? And with a man like Martin Gleeson on his inside, well, he really does manage to capitalise the New Zealand international.
A skillful try, Eddie. Scored on the last tackle. Good teams were able to do that. Players staying on side, helped by the fact that Paul Wood got up and played the ball so quickly on that fifth tackle, just 10 metres from the post. All the players in the right place, and they take the first try.
So it's a big test here for Lee Breers, because Henry Farfili scored that way out on the touchline, and Breers with the opportunity of adding the extras, but he's got this vociferous Castleford crowd right behind him, and he's sliced it the wrong side of the post. So Castleford 0, Warrington 4.
Basic rugby league skills, you just make the overlap. You could see there that Wayne Price had to go for Gleeson. Farfili goes in at the corner. Good start, good finish.
Try though came at a loss for the Wolves. Eddie. Mark Gleeson, the hooker who Brian Noble had just highlighted, he's just gone off while we've had a break in play for that attempted conversion, now replaced by John Clark.
Yes, John Clark, who had a contract extension that keeps him at Warrington until 2008. He and Ben Westwood were the men that Paul Cullen decided to switch after the defeat by Salford on Friday, but John Clark, with the injury to Mark Gleeson, gets the opportunity to come on very early in the piece here. But the team 4 points ahead as Ryan McGoldrick kicks off. Let's get news of Mark Gleeson's injury. Bill.
It was a really nasty cut over his left eye that forced Mark Gleeson to leave the field. The signal went to the doctor straight down the tunnel. Looks like a stitches job for the Wolves hooker. John Clark on, as you said. Incidentally, a word on Chris Bridge, who's been great form for the Wolves this season, missing this afternoon. He was thought to have broken his ankle in the defeat against Salford the other day. The good news is that it's not a break. He's still going to need an x-ray though tomorrow, and there is some damage there.
So better news than thought about Chris Bridge. He and Lee Breers have formed a useful half-back partnership this year for the Wolves. This is Logan Swan, meanwhile. We ought to get across to the press benches, I think, to hear the views from the gentleman of the press and Dave Hadfield, who will be announcing later the man of the match.
It's the old and the new tonight for Castleford. Paul Francie making his full debut in the centres and hopefully giving them a bit more strike power there. Brad Davis playing the second game of his comeback. Everyone at Castleford reckons he made a big difference for them in his first game against Wakefield. Warrington, well, they were poor without Lee Breers and Chris Bridge against Salford. Breers is back tonight, already having an influence, but they would have been a lot worse if they hadn't had Stuart Reid. And he twice ran down David Hodgson, who's no slouch. That's a reminder of how good he was in 2004 for both Bradford and Great Britain.
Well, Warrington have just blown the opportunity to increase the lead.
He did, I'm no passing expert, but why Michael Sullivan chooses to pass the ball with just his right arm, his left hand's able, just throws it one-handed. It was a poor pass to Gross and he couldn't take it. Missed opportunity, but he continues to do that. Just offloads, flicks it with his right hand.
Brent Gross, who scored 12 tries last year, has remarkably yet to get off the mark in 2006. This is Wayne Price. 5 tries in his last 5 appearances in Super League this year, or rather in 5 appearances this year for the Castleford Tigers. Wayne Price.
That's an amazing stat, isn't it? Brent Gross, always eager to link into the three-quarter line. Oh, that was high. He's allowed the advantage.
Fioso gets the ball away, and this is McGoldrick. Now they'll give the penalty. He'll bring them back, the referee, because the touch judge is on.
Good refereeing there by Richard Silverwood. Had the whistle to his mouth, but realised as soon as the break was on, he'll have the advantage. He would have been given if it had gone right the way through. Good work by Fioso.
Toakoe Love, a little awkward, really.
It was the most dangerous ball runner when we watched him in the first game of Super League this year, wasn't he, against Sulphur? So if they can get support around him, he's strong in the tackle and good to offload when he gets his arms free.
Henderson deposits the ball into touch.
It has been a problem, Eddie, with Coe Love. He has a tendency to go very high rather than go for the legs.
Here's Fioso again, undaunted by the high challenge from Coe Love. Oh, that's good defence from Warrington on the very first tackle, and Reardon at the heart of it. He learned good habits at the Bradford Bulls, did Stuart Reardon.
Well, a wasted opportunity there for the Tigers. Many chances to get anywhere near the Warrington line, and he's somewhat disappointed, Terry Madison.
Stuart Reardon, Brian added the weight, but to be fair, it was Sullivan, and it was the other player who was in the tackle there, Toakoe Love, who did all the damage there.
That's what's called in the trade a coach killer. You go run out on play one, it's so frustrating for a team that's just established some field position or on the front foot, and doesn't Stuart Reardon look different with hair?
Little heartbreak here from arguably Warrington's most impressive forward this season. That's Paul Wood. He plays the ball here. Good hit by Danny Ward, though. There was nowhere for Paul Noon then to go. John Clark scampers away. Another big hit on John Clark. Wood again, trying to go round Nutley and Ward and Fioso. That's a big challenge. It's the last one here for Warrington. Expect the kick here from Breers. No, they're running it because it's Gleeson. And he gets away from Price and flicks the ball wide to Farfili. Again, a dab over the top from Henry Farfili. He claims it, flicks it back to Logan Swan. Brilliantly kept alive by Warrington. Lee Breers has escaped the net. A kick to the corner. Are they quick enough? Yes, they are. Coe Love with the try for Warrington. What a brilliant try for Warrington, although it's not given yet by referee Richard Silverwood. Just wants to check offside, I think.
Steve, right, just to check the offside.
Well, a tremendous play by Warrington.
How on earth have they scored this?
They kept it alive, they tested their arm, it went out. Poor defence on Breers, but take nothing away from the kick. They're all onside. There is no problem with the onside-offside situation for the video referee. This will be the TRY. Absolutely superb stuff here. You can see that he's virtually on the line when he kicks it, and I think it's fine there.
Well, Coe Love, who scored, is
well
miles away,
yeah.
yes. And Toakoe Love's going to get the try here, which he does on the nod of the video referee. Toakoe Love, a try against Wakefield. That was his 100th in the Super League. And that's try number 3 for the season so far.
Tremendous work by Henry Farfili as well. They tested it. You can see that Castleford hung back, and again we see Wayne Price come out of that position. Farfili gets a good catch, offloads, and then this is the big problem. They could not stop Breers. They should have. Gave him the opportunity to flick on. Take your pick. And he won a 3. Comes up with a 4. Oh, this is great rugby league football. Tremendous stuff. Beautiful kick into the corner. And scooped up. Toakoe Love got in charge for the Wolves.
And Lee Briers with the opportunity to add the extras, but again from a very long way out on the touchline, but he's drifted that in over the wind, and that is a great kick from Lee Briers. It's Castleford 0, Warrington 10. And Toa Coelove and the Briers conversion. And Coelove, Brian, was with you for 12 months at Bradford, but you hardly saw him. I think he only played twice, didn't he? And then he was injured.
I think he had a knee injury or probably a shoulder injury, but we hoped for big things from Toa. It didn't transpire. He only spent one season with us, and he's a terrific player. He's a very dangerous player. He lines players up, can go in and out on them. And what that means, he stands a defender up. They think they're going one way, he goes the other. And he's been around for a fair while now and been a top performer for a long time.
Remarkable. He conceded the penalty. He defended the penalty brilliantly. That was a massive hit from Willie Manu. And Toa Coelove, as I say, conceded the penalty, defended it brilliantly, and then scored the try on the end of the last tackle in the set of 6.
Well, it was the second last tackle try that Castleford have conceded. Very often players
40-20 from Briers. 40-20 kick from Lee Briers. Well, he's on song.
He's got it. Tremendous effort there by the standoff Lee Briers, and rightly so. Well inside the 40. He could see that they were very slow to get back. Took full advantage of the fact that Luke Dyer was a little bit slow. He really knows how to control a game, this fella.
When Briers plays, Warrington plays.
They certainly do. But the forwards, I was going to make the point. You mentioned that Paul Wood, the prop forward, has been playing exactly all season. Very hard, very strong, but he does too much work. They've got to share the work about amongst the forwards. Otherwise, they're going to burn him out.
Eddie Castleford were lucky to survive there. They had only one defender against 2 Warrington attackers on that short side. They've got to number up and smarten up here on their own line quickly.
It's John Clark, and he dummies a couple. He gives it to Michael Sullivan. Oh, dangerous flick pass, but Briers manages to get it away to Brent Gross. And they are having to defend desperately, the Castleford Tigers. John Clark, it's big Chris Lightfall. Couldn't get the ball away. 3 men in there to bring him down. But they're underneath the sticks, Warrington, and they've got 2 tackles remaining. Clark, poor pass, picked up by Briers. He finds Gross again, and Gross offloads to Wainwright. And Wainwright dumps it down to John Clark. Another Warrington try. John Clark off the bench. And the boos that are ringing round the ground don't come from the Warrington fans. They are from the Castleford supporters. They're not happy, but Warrington fans are delighted. And John Clark with the try. A contract extension. He's here till the end of 2008. Try number 2.
Keep the ball alive. That's the key to picking up winning money, and they did just that. But very poor defence. They hung back, some went forward, some away. Okay, it wasn't the best pass, but Briers, he had the ability to offload. The combination of the 2 halfbacks, Wainwright did exceptionally well, and as all hookers should do, you support back on the inside.
Well, after a disappointing defeat on Good Friday, it was inevitable that the Wolves would come out with something special. Great demonstration of skill again here for the 3rd try. The 40-20 set it up effectively, and they had the players stretching over just to the left-hand side of the post. Castleford without the energy, I feel, at this stage there to defend the line for 6 tackles.
John Clark with the try then, 2nd try of the campaign for him, as I say, formerly with London. He made his debut for the Broncos here in 2000 in a defeat. His try and that goal from Lee Briers gives Warrington a 16-point advantage here.
And again, that man Briers, not only has he added the extra 2 from the try, he was involved in this wherewithal to ensure that it got away. But great stuff. Just keep it alive, that's all you have to do. And support play. And of course it did come by the 40-20 by Lee Briers. The Tigers fans are not too impressed.
It's an enormous leap though, Steve. I know they were only out of Super League for 12 months and they came back having won. Oh, that's out. And well, the touch judge is signalling that it's a goal line dropout, but surely.
Well, he has his foot over, so therefore
the ball is out.
Yeah, his feet is off the ground when he catches the ball.
But
he's come from outside. He's also hit the corner flag, so therefore, well, he's got it wrong, I think. If
that should be a penalty on halfway.
Of course it should.
Tell you what,
Well, I can't
it's a
believe that.
lifeline for the Tigers at 16 points to nil.
Well, between them, the touch judge and referee, I have to say the video referee have got this totally wrong.
Have they ever?
I mean, the video referee presumably is in touch with Mr. Silverwood out in the middle, if needed.
Brian, would you criticise the winger a little bit? Should he have known where the sideline was and had 1 foot over it?
Absolutely. He started in the field of play, which you have to do. All he has to have is a piece of his body that's outside the line, and if the ball touches him, then it should be a penalty on halfway. I know he's not recognised where he's been stood, but it's still the same rule. The ball's touched him when he's been out of play.
And of course, he makes contact with the corner flag. So
as he catches it. Anyway, look, let's just put that to bed because it's a chance here for Castleford. It's more than a chance. It is a try from Michael Platt. Well, Phil Clark said as soon as that decision went in the favour of the Tigers that it was a lifeline, and it is exactly that now, courtesy of the try from the fullback Michael Platt, who missed Friday after playing 8 in a row.
you've got to take your chances, and they certainly did here. Great stuff back on the inside. Good work there by Manu, back on the in, and the fullback Platt. But this is the incident. He goes into touch there, he jumps, he catches on the line. That should have been a penalty. Touch judge waves straight away that it should have been a dropout, but take nothing away from the Tigers. Good work, Manu back on the inside. Great support play yet again.
Ryan McGoldrick, one of the former Cronulla Sharks with Nutley and in this side, and he has reduced the arrears.
Well, there we see they've worked their way upfield from that goal line dropout, and neither of these two sides have looked too impressive when it comes to defending their own try line. Warrington couldn't do it. This time it was Manu on the left-hand side, dangerous. Fausto also offers that threat on the right-hand side. And the try there, well, pretty happy because it's just kept them in this game when they were staring at another home defeat.
Here's Danny Nutley, yet another Cronulla connection. I tell you what, though, if Warrington go on to lose this by 6 points, Paul Cullen will explode.
Well, the thing that Paul has to do is to get the message out to the Warrington boys and say, listen, forget about it. We know the officials made a mistake. Do not let it prey on your mind. Get back into the game plan. And the game plan has worked so well in as much that the good work solid in the middle in the forwards, bringing this Castleford defence in and then work it out wide. That's where they've caught them.
The high shot on Danny Ward. Danny Nutley takes a quick tap and drives it forward. Here is McGoldrick. And this is Manu. Oh, what a ball round the corner to Gray beyond that one. He gets to his feet and will play it to Wayne Price. We've had some cracking nights down here at the Jungle in the past, haven't we? Some great games involving the Tigers before they departed the Super League scene 12 months ago. There's Davis. Here's the try scorer, Michael Platt. Oh, and he let that ball go. Oh! He just dropped the ball then.
No, well, I know it's Easter, but that really was a gift.
He just let that ball go and he got the penalty.
Well, it was a gift, it wasn't a steal. Either way,
He was trying to give him the ball back, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Castleford with their tails up at the moment. It's Danny Ward, even though they are 16-6 down.
Move, ball, move!
And Henderson at dummy half. McGoldrick again looks for the runner. Gravian bounced off the shoulder of John Clark there. Halted 10 metres shy of the line. It's Brad Davis. Davis gets it wide and flicked by Dion Bird somehow. They keep hold of the ball to the Castleford Tigers. There's Dion Bird again. And Davis, who at 38 looks full of it. And the ball on the angle finds Fausto. And Warrington all hands to the pumps to keep him out. Henderson back it comes to Davis again. A stab ball looking for Platt. Oh, that's a penalty. And he could be on his way to the bin here, Logan Swan.
It's got to be. Davis asking that should have been a penalty try. Go to the screen. Certainly
would never be a penalty try.
No, but can't blame them for asking.
He's lucky not to be on his way to the bin, Mr. Swan. Castleford come again with Dion Bird, and this is immense pressure on the Warrington line. It's remarkable. The game has turned in the last 5 minutes on that blunder by the officials. It's Faoso. Castleford in possession in the Warrington half now, 9 minutes. And Davis, can they make that statistic tell? Try to go inside the defender, flicks it away. Bird, good hands. McGoldrick gets the ball off the deck. It's still alive now. It's Lee Breers. Farfili and Warrington will try and get some order back in the ranks.
Well, they were looking to get away with that. You know, Lee Breers, the Warrington skipper, was absolutely furious with Logan Swan. He'd done all the hard work to get himself behind the post for that kick. And he had a few words to say to the big second rower, Mr. Swan.
John Clark, Danny Ward, good tackle. Paul Noon. Here is big Paul Rahihi.
There's been some big hits and they're playing at a very hectic pace indeed.
They are. It's bubbling along nicely, this match. Here's Paul Wood. Last tackle here for Warrington.
Well, this is the big threat. The last player's been the one that's killed the Tigers.
Oh, and Breers is at it again. Oh, and Clark just knocks the ball forward.
With the scrum down.
No, turnover, Steve, on the last.
Sorry, yeah, it was. But good work by the defence of the Castleford Tigers. Really got to him. They know how dangerous this guy can be. Well, it's amazing how a game can just turn around and with just one decision.
Wayne Price over halfway for the Castleford Tigers.
The Tigers looked really depleted, didn't they, Eddie? And they've got back into it.
They looked flat as pancakes, didn't they, at 16-0? But they're very much in the match now.
They're in the match with this simple philosophy, aren't they, though? You've just seen three pretty straightforward, determined runs. Try and get close to opponent's line, and then maybe a Faz also or a Willie Manu, one of those type of players can get their arms free to some support.
It's Dion Bird again. He finds Brad Davis, and Davis fires the pass to McGoldrick. Quick hands to Platt, and here is Willie Manu again. Well, that's a right schmozzle at the play the ball, but they let it go on with Gravian. Henry Farfili's there. They're going to get another set of 6. They are going to get another set of 6 from the goal line dropout, the Castleford Tigers.
Quick thinking as well.
Well, they've woken up, 16-0 down, they're suddenly back in the match.
But he knew that there's nowhere to go there, so Dion Bird said, we'll just have a little dink into the corner. Good work by Farfili, got back in time.
Third goal line dropout coming up here by Warrington. Tell you what, Brian, top, middle or bottom, doesn't matter. It's a great competition, isn't it?
It's a terrific competition, and we've seen why Castleford will trouble teams. Once they get to the right end of the field, I think Manu and Faoso are really explosive ball carriers, and the two good front rowers like this fella and Danny Nutley, they're always going to lay the platform for the 38-year-old Brad Davis and Ryan McGoldrick to try and exploit some holes.
It's Danny Nutley here against his former club, of course. Nutley, new captain of the Castleford Tigers in 2006 as they came back from the National Leagues. It's with McGoldrick now. Good run, lovely step here. Great ball as well to Henderson. It was from Willie Manu. And McGoldrick is the dummy half. He's found Brad Davis. Davis will spill it wide. On the bounce for the chance. More than a chance. Luke Dyer has scored. The referee hasn't given it. Just wants to check because the corner post went down. And he wants to check the grounding.
It was a great tackle.
Oh, he's in touch.
Yeah, he's got it.
Oh, what a shame for Luke Dyer. What a tackle, though, for Reardon.
Tremendous stuff. He's got to decide, and I think, the tip of the boot just strokes the whitewash. This will be no try. Deserved one, though.
Magnificent tackle from Stuart Reardon.
He lined him up, didn't he, and just whipped at him across the legs. And the video referee certainly got it right on that occasion.
Jerry Kershaw, the man in control of the buttons tonight.
You'd be a little bit worried if you were Paul Cullen at present. 2 goal line dropouts, and on the last 2 it looks as though Castleford should have scored, really. I mean, to have to scramble, let's give some credit to Stuart Reardon, but he shouldn't really have to scramble and be that desperate in that part of the field.
Phil, it's the penalties as well. They're increasing, the pressure's still there because Castleford have been camped in there for 15 minutes. We've got to get to the other end of the field, Warrington, and they'll do that by keeping the discipline and Castleford have the ball in their half.
Looks like Mark Gleeson is back with stitches. 10 stitches in a cut under his eye, Mark Gleeson. They are brave, these Super League players. They don't go off with a broken fingernail in this game.
Well, I was listening to some comments about Wayne Godwin when he played at St Helens on Friday. Had most of his teeth knocked out, Eddie. Still ran out today to play for Wigan against the Harlequins. I'll tell you what, that's tough.
It is, and there is Mark Gleeson. Here is Parker. I thought those tackles, and we've seen a couple of them in this game already, either side, I thought they were outlawed, where the legs come up.
Well, both of them really have been pretty close to the ground. It's when they actually lift them higher. It's a difficult way to decide, but...
Briers again. Logan Swan, a dab down the wing looking for Henry Farfili. Wayne Price does well. He had to be quick then.
Again, Briers, the architect, through the dummy, went through the half break, back on the inside. And good work there. Wayne Price just denied Henry Farfili.
Paul Cullen will know, the Castleford supporters will know, that it isn't or won't be the first time that Castleford have gifted a team a lead like this and clawed their way back into the match. They did exactly this at Harlequins under Terry Mattison earlier this year. So even though it was 16-0 to Warrington a few moments ago, this match is far from over. And here is Parker on the run.
It's important now that Castleford do not concede a try in the next 5 or so minutes. It's been a long time since the Wolves have got anywhere near the Tigers' line, and they have been caught out wide a couple of occasions.
Briers again, back it comes to Clark. Here is Martin Gleeson. Oh, Gleeson skips through the challenger Price, and Martin Gleeson touches down. Well, that will take a bit of the pressure off Paul Cullen and the Warrington Wolves. Martin Gleeson with the try. A try last week against Bradford, his first of 2006, and a try now here at the Jungle.
Then again, you can see that the Warrington side, as soon as they do a rush down the middle, Castleford's defence, I'm afraid, is all at sea out wide. It's a big problem for them, and this guy is running the show. Good work from Clark. You got to make sure you get this fella, Martin Gleeson. Had a slow start to the season, but he's back on top form. Beautiful pass. Not the best defence, though.
Warrington only managed to get 1 try on Friday against Salford. It looks as though they're going to get a few more than that here today. Very impressive in attack, some brilliant skill, players running off the ball, causing problems to the defensive line, and players running into holes like Gleeson there. Good try. All created from the goal line dropout. Some good skill on show from the Wolves in attack. I think Paul Cullen will want to know, Eddie, can they start to demonstrate those skills in defence and prevent the Tigers from scoring next? It's been a tit-for-tat game for the last 20 minutes.
It has, and the other thing Paul Cullen and many Warrington supporters watching at home tonight will be saying is, if we can play like this away from home, why on earth can't we do it at home?
Yeah, it sometimes just erodes their confidence over a period of time. Paul Cullen's getting somewhat anxious, realising that he doesn't want them to make his mistake. We keep saying it, but it always seems to happen from the kickoff. Something very, very unusual. Brian, you've been in the game a long time, especially as a coach. When you see the kickoffs and the elementary mistakes, you know, it must drive you mad.
I don't think he made a mistake. I think the referee and the officials have maybe made a mistake, but what it was followed by was a couple of penalties which invited Castleford into the game, and I think the influence of penalties now in the modern game is probably more than it's ever been. And we look there, a penalty on Logan Swan invited Warrington to the attack. I think, you know, the statisticians, if I think I got it right, the statisticians could tell you how influenced penalties are.
Good teeth those, aren't they, Brian? Good teeth.
Well, I had mine knocked out when I was young as well, so I know I'm at young Godwin at Wigan Fields.
Brian, it's about a third of all tries begin with a penalty these days.
So
that's how important it is.
Probably reinforces, you know, beliefs on the influence of penalties and probably the influence of referees, because you can cope with that if all the referees are consistent and they're getting a fair crack, and I think that's what we need to look at as a game.
Down to the side, and Burley spotted something.
Well, just an interesting keep it in the family line from the Gleesons, because Mark, with those 10 stitches under his left eye, has copied his brother Martin. In fact, if you look at him closely, they've both got a lovely little crescent scar underneath their left eye. There's Martin on the other cheek. He's got a identical cut, identical number of stitches, bizarrely.
That's unbelievable, Eddie. Bill has introduced a new competition. spot the stitch.
Great kick to the corner, but it just beats Farfili.
Well, that man on your screen obviously feels that Wayne Price is a bit of a problem when it comes to...
There's the brothers with the bad cuts on the cheek, and since Bill's mentioned that, we can't get a shot of them. We ought to tell them to turn and face the camera.
They've got a cousin who played at Wigan today and did all right as well. I know they didn't win, Eddie, but the Gleesons have got something in the genes because they can play rugby league all right. Knock on here now at the base of the scrum from the Tigers. Worst possible outcome there now if you're a Castleford fan. You've seen how fragile their defence is near their own line. McGoldrick it is, trips over somebody's leg, loses possession, and Breeze now to feed the scrum.
And Clark gets possession from the base of the scrum. Here is Brent Gross, and here is Michael Sullivan, who scores. He stretches out the arm.
Just short.
Is he?
He is short. I don't think he's got it on the whitewash.
Well, it's a decision for Mr. Kershaw again.
It's only a couple of inches short, and there you can see it.
Well, it's not a double movement, is it?
No.
He's been well tackled.
He did well to hang on to that. That was great defence.
Longer arms, he might have scored. Looked like he did, and that's why we have the video referee.
It's just going to be a play the ball, isn't it, on the try line?
Play the ball back 10 metres,
Yep.
There's no offence there, is there, from Sullivan?
Well, he's just having a look to see whether he's lost control of it. He regathers it.
Why does he end up over the line, Eddie?
No, he's the other side of the line, isn't he?
I think he's looking to see whether he's actually lost control of the football, whether it's a knock-on. Watch the right arm. It seems to disappear.
I think they're checking now whether it's a try.
Oh, it's short, surely.
Well, what will be Mr. Kershaw's decision?
A try.
Well, there you go. That is the first try for Michael Sullivan for Warrington.
I think Paul Cullen was trying to hide the disbelief on his face there. He just turned away, didn't he, thinking this sky cameras might just catch me right here.
Well, I can't believe that. Well, that squares it up. Take nothing away. There's the incident, the knock-on from Ryan McGoldrick.
Actually, it's Paul Rahihi's leg, isn't it, Steve-O? We're not picked up here that comes around.
I think they may have been badly done to. Take nothing away from this. I mean, Sullivan did exceptionally well to reach for it. But I can't see that ball getting anywhere near that whitewash. He's short there, deliver it, and then Castleford player's body goes underneath it, and then the elbow goes on it, and then the foot goes on it. That is nowhere near the whitewash.
That's what he says it was, just there.
Okay.
Now, you always say that Jerry Kershaw is the best video referee in the game.
We all have bad days.
Here is Lee Breers, who adds the extras, and it's 28 points to 26. Sorry, 28 points to 6. Castleford wish it was 26. 28 points to 6. Steve-O, the cynical amongst us, would say that's payback time for the decision in the corner.
Well,
that when Castleford scored.
Yeah, of course.
That is where he says the ball has hit the line.
Okay. Still not convinced.
Well, there is going to be, I think I'm right in saying, I read this somewhere over the past week or so, we're going to have a new sign on the video referee scoreboard, benefit of the doubt.
Well, you keep saying that.
No, that's what they're going to do. But he hasn't given that anyway. But Mr. Kershaw has ruled it's touched the line.
Okay.
But they are going to do that in the future. There was going to be another sign, benefit of the doubt. Paul Rahihi, we can't give him the benefit of the doubt because he has just knocked on.
Well, I suppose in many ways it's like the Australians where they give it back and hand it back to the man with the whistle. So it's just a different name, that's all. Definitely lost it. Well, it's a bitter blow to the Castleford side. As you say, I mean, look, we have the coaches on all throughout the season. They say that all you want, it usually just evens itself out during the year.
Evens itself out tonight, Brian, hasn't it? So far. Maybe. Perhaps.
So far, maybe. So far, maybe. Perhaps.
Here is Andy Kane. We've still got Brad Davis out there, even though Andy Kane is there as well. Brad Davis, it'd be difficult to get him off the field. 38 years of age.
Is that the Teddy Sheringham, isn't he, of rugby league? Here it is. There's the ball to him. Has he got outside his man? Rorty
tried to, and Warrington muscle up in defence. Bring him down, tackle number 3. They've got the penalty, Huddersfield, Bradford, hello, where are we? That's tomorrow. Castleford, thank you. I was thinking Ben Rorty, oh, never mind.
Forget about it.
The Tigers try coming in, that's all you need to think about.
I know you're confused. You're confused in regards to which club Brian is actually going to go to.
No, which club Ben Rorty is playing for, but it is the Castleford Tigers.
They need to score.
Giants.
The Tigers need to post a try here.
Dion Bird knows that. The little gap there. Coelho closed it down. There's Andy Kane. It'll come back here to McGoldrick. And a good run again from Manu. Great offload also. And another offload, and Andy Kane once more. Danny Nutley wanted it short. Kane took the tackle from Parker. There's Danny Ward. There is Davis. Over the head of two. Bounces kindly. Good ball. Luke Dyer flings it back inside. Rorty keeping the ball alive. Brilliantly so. Picked up by Gross.
Just a bit of a fumble there from Gross, I feel. And they gave him the touch. He's given the penalty, has he? Standing squarely, play the ball. Well, they kept it alive. So it just bobbled slightly, and then the tackle had been complete, no doubt about it. Luke Dyer just getting a little bit overexcited. It just shows you the desperation. They know the seconds ticking away. Warrington, I feel, will be quite happy just to run the first five and look towards Breers for the kick into the corner. Been an impressive first half, though, by Warrington.
Not been a bad game, to be fair, and Castleford have played their part in it. So have the officials, given us plenty to talk about.
They always do.
Rahihi plays the ball 40 metres out. Look forward, and the referee says it was.
Now that is a sin. No doubt about it. Combination there. Rob Parker overran it, and really Gleeson should not have let go.
So here come Castleford again. A try here just before half-time would be exactly the lift that they want. And Danny Ward will puff the cheeks out and charge it forward again.
They'll be looking towards the second row, Willie Manu. He's caused all sorts of problems for Warrington.
Nutley.
He's out here on the left-hand side. The outside McGoldrick, will he get the pass?
Well, Andy Kane comes this way, finds McGoldrick, misses out, finds Gravey-Ann, and Gravey-Ann, not tackled, gets the ball away, back to McGoldrick again. And Martin Gleeson, Henry Farfeli bring him down in the tackle, but they are just short of the line. And it's Davis again, stab kick through, bounces off the... I was going to say bounces off the chest of Rahihi, and he believes he's been hard done by, but it's a knock-on.
Well, he certainly went for it, so therefore it's play on. It was good refereeing by Richard Silverwood. You could see that the leg went out there. No doubt in my mind that Rahihi...
Did he get a hand to it?
Yeah, there, as he sees. Quite simple.
Rorty again for Castleford. 40 seconds remaining. Andy Kane. Castleford ending the first half on the attack. Good tackle by Coelho. Oh, and he drops it. He dropped it, Dion Bird.
Had the opportunity there, but that really was great defence.
Warrington will take the 28-6 lead into half-time. I'm sure there'll be no heroics here. This is Stuart Reardon, who came up with a very important tackle, remember, in that first half, in the corner. 0-0, by the way, in the south of France, we understand. Catalan and St Helens. There's the half-time siren. And Paul Rahihi flings the ball straight into the back of Ben Rorty. There is the 10-stitch wound that Mark Gleeson is carrying through this game. And it's a very quiet place, the Jungle, if you're a Castleford fan, because Warrington have called the shots and they lead at half-time by 28 points to 6.
Get ready for a big summer of cricket.
Beauty.
Sky Sports is covering it all, starting with the C&G Trophy and the defending champions Hampshire. They're in Dublin to play Ireland. The road to Lords and the showcase final starts here. The C&G Trophy, sponsored by Stan James, Ireland v Hampshire, starts Sunday at 10, Sky Sports 2.
Jeff, I've got it. We'll beat your insurance deal. I'll give you £50. If it's cheaper, we'll drop our price and give you £50. Kiss. No kiss.
We're so confident we'll beat your home insurance renewal that if it's cheaper, we'll drop our price.
Hello.
And give you £50 when you switch. Insurance from Barclays. Now there's a thought.
Extreme protection that lets you go wild. Sure.
Because some projects require more than one sander, Black & Decker have created the Cyclonic Action 4-in-1 sander. It's a random orbit, detail, finish and flush sander with built-in dust collection. So it gets the job done faster.
Lads. Nice one, mate. With smoothness and flavour, Tetleys don't do things by half.
Feel the speed, the sound, the visual rush in breathtaking colour and high-definition picture clarity. Be there. With Panasonic's new range of Viera HD plasma and LCD televisions. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Norwich Union Direct are the #1 online motor insurer, so visit quotemehappy.com.
The all-new Toyota RAV4 with integrated active drive system. Recreation redefined by Toyota.
We have had one heck of a bank holiday weekend for you on Sky Sports in terms of Rugby League. That's the 7th match that we have brought you since last Thursday. It's the Bradford Bulls against the Huddersfield Giants, 8 o'clock Tuesday night on Sky Sports 1. Glorious spring evening here in Castleford, and the Tigers trailing by 28 points to 6 to the Warrington Wolves. Well, Terry Mattison has certainly got his work cut out. Even before the match started here, the Tigers next to bottom of the table. Worst defence in the competition. And they had shipped in prior to today 60 tries in 9 Super League rounds. Warrington, not exactly a crisis of confidence, but they came to this match on the back of their second defeat of the year against the Salford City Reds, and they wanted to prove something of a point. And in the first half, well, they have done exactly that, and they're well in control of the match. Steve-O, I think it's Warrington's to lose now, rather than Castleford's to win.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's a pretty solid opening by the Wolves. You know, they used their forwards very, very effectively, and then they realised that Castleford's defence is very, very poor out wide. And the first occasion they did that, they got the overlap for Farfili, and it wasn't long before Breers took control yet again. They failed to close Warrington down, and you can see that the defence is going all over the shop, somewhat out of position. Farfili did well here, and it's all about the support play. And then when Breers makes the break, what about the kick into the corner? No one at home. They had 3 lining up, and it was Coelov.
And following on shortly after that, again, it was a Libriers kick, an excellent 40-20, kicked it from inside his own 40-metre zone into their opponent's deep territory. And when you're given that sort of field position with the class that Warrington have, sooner or later somebody's going to get over the line. They keep the ball alive, and in fact, people keep supporting the ball carrier. Eventually it's Clark who takes the ball back inside from Wainwright, and 16 points to 0. You started to worry, but immediately from a kick-off mistake from either the officials, the Warrington player, well, or somebody, but Castleford took advantage of it. It gave them a chance to get close to their opponent's line, and Platt's try here gave a little bit of hope for the Tigers at this point. 16 points to 6, and the Tigers thought they were back in the game.
And had Luke Dyer gone into the corner here, it's a super effort from Shu. You back him every day of the week, dive and get the ball down some, but Reardon's terrific effort stops Luke Dyer adding the points to Castleford. And what we see is they come down the other end, width from Breers, running this right side, and when Gleeson gets a one-on-one on anybody, it's difficult to stop, and Price just misses the play on him.
A little bit unfortunate, McGoldrick. I don't think it was a knock-on, but Wolves were certainly not crying over spilt milk, and it was Sullivan, who I think was short, but I'm not the video referee, and it was perhaps the only hope that that try really should have been turned down. Very close to it. I cannot believe that that actually hit the whitewash, but as I say, I'm not the video referee.
Castleford struggling to come to terms with Super League even yet. They had a little purple patch end of February, early March, but defence, you all preach, all you coaches say defence is the key, and Castleford's defence is not quite up to the mark yet.
Not yet, and that's what'll be disappointing Terry. He'll be thinking they could have made a couple of those plays on the line. They'll be talking about stopping the ball and those little extra passes that the people like Swan and Rauhihi are coming out with, and Wood, that are just for springing their halves, if you like, for try scoring opportunities. They've got to stop the ball first and foremost with Warrington. They do like to play with width. They do like to play expansive when they're in Castleford's half of the field, and they'll have talked about that, about winning the ground so they can get forward and close down those type of plays. And by winning the ground, I mean being stronger at marker, being stood and ready to go forward with your line.
OK, Warrington have the match in their pockets, you would think, but in the Super League, well, we've preached it all the way through, haven't we, from day one. Anything could happen. It would be a remarkable comeback for the Castleford Tigers, though, in the second half. Warrington's match to lose.
One lone adventurer.
You'll never find Tutankhamun's tomb.
Stands between mankind and the end of the world.
You never give up. Too much at stake.
An all-star cast in The Curse of King Tut. Tonight at 8, Sky 1.
Cleaner Clothes, episode 14. And a final send-off for Vince.
So, you want to know who blasted Vince? It was...
Dad's citrus blast? So where is Vince?
I'm in heaven. Here's to starting afresh. And to sharing the insurance money.
Poor Vince. At least he's got new Dad's Citrus Blast, the soap you can believe in.
Lads.
Nice one, mate.
With smoothness and flavour, Tetley's don't do things by half.
I know I should put something away for the future. Question is, where do I put it? An ISA? A tracker? Investment bonds? What about with profits? Or is my best bet a balanced managed fund? Whatever that is. I know one thing for certain. I'm totally confused.
Make sense of investments with Norwich Union. Speak to a financial advisor.
Ah, the relentless pace of change. Monday's breakthrough is Wednesday's commodity. So how do you stay ahead?
You have to make innovation part of your culture. Because ready or not, change is heading your way. IBM. Innovation for flexibility.
Oi, Churchill, could you save me up to 150 quid on my car insurance?
Oh, yes.
With 24-hour assistance if I have an accident?
Yes.
A 5-year guarantee on repairs?
Yes.
A courtesy car while you're fixing mine?
Oh, yes.
Ooh, and can I have my own personal chauffeur called Les?
No.
But I could still save up to 150 quid on my car insurance?
Oh, yes.
See how much you could save on your car insurance. Give the dog a phone now on 0800 200 300 or log on to churchill.com.
I love you.
Steady now.
Need a high-paying job.
Beg for mercy.
Ocean's 12 premieres tonight at 8 on Sky Movies 1, then every 15 minutes with Multistart on Sky Movies 7.
Super League is back at the weekend, of course, Friday and Saturday as usual this weekend, and we're at Headingley on Friday night for Leeds against Castleford, 7:30 start, Sky Sports 1, and then Huddersfield against Wigan, 5:45 on Sky Sports 1. Will Wigan have the new coach in charge by then? And who will he be? Easter Monday evening, and Warrington Wolves 28 points to 6 ahead at half-time. Can Castleford claw their way back? Their defence has been leaking tries all year. They look good going forward. They've got some good runners in the likes of Willie Mano, Richard Fiosa when he's on, Ben Rorty, Danny Ward never takes a backward step. But they just can't score tries, and they can't stop the opposition scoring tries.
No. Solid down the middle. The forwards are working hard, but when Warrington have swung it out wide, the extra pace, I'm afraid, has just obliterated this Castleford defence, and I just get the impression that Paul Cullen, the Warrington coach, will have said yet again, more of the same, keep kicking to Wayne Price.
Castleford won every home game last year, 15 in all. That was in the National League, of course. In 2004, when they were last in Super League, they managed only 3 home victories. A win tonight would equal that tally in 2006 in only their 5th home game of the season. But as you can see from the scoreline top of your screen, they really are up against it right now.
They certainly are, Eddie, but Warrington can't just relax. They've got to make sure that score at least another couple of tries in the next 15-20 minutes.
Excuse me, Steve, I'm just receiving stunning news from the south of France. Catalan Dragons leading against St Helens by 8 points to 0 in the first half. We won't be able to get the full-time score to you tonight, by the way, before we go off air, but check on Sky Text or Sky Sports News, and we will certainly have the highlights of whatever happens in the south of France in boots and all this Wednesday evening here on Sky Sports, along with all the Easter highlights. Thursday, Good Friday, the whole lot, 6 o'clock on Sky Sports Extra, boots and all, and if you can't be there for 6 o'clock, it's on Sky Sports 2 at 8.
You know something, Eddie, I really feel that maybe Catalan could be doing Saints a favour, because now they'll have to roll up the sleeves, get into it, really hard game. It really wasn't all that hard for them last Friday, was it?
No, but I tell you what, they're not only doing St Helens a favour, they're doing the competition an enormous favour. But it's a long way to go in that one yet. 8-0, Catalan ahead of St Helens. Stunning news from the south of France. Here in the sunshine in West Yorkshire, Warrington ahead, 28-6 against Castleford and in possession, with Henry Farfili, who plays the ball to Sullivan, who finds Michael Wainwright. Here's Sullivan again, picks it up one-handed off the deck, starting to come to terms with the Super League now. Michael Sullivan.
Is that because he's playing hooker, perhaps, Eddie? I mean, they played him initially in that first game as the scrum half, replacing Nathan Wood.
Problem for Dion Bird, he's down, and it doesn't look well at all.
Lee Breers under pressure from Danny Ward, and that ball will... Oh, I think Wayne Price has touched that out. I think it's Wayne Price who's knocked that out, and that's as good as a 40-20 for Warrington. Dion Bird, meanwhile, is flat out.
Well, he had a problem in the first half. He got a stray knock on the nose, and that really could be the top of the spine. Let's hope they're keeping very, very still. There's the worst thing that can happen to anybody trying to go into the tackle. For safety first, you've got to make sure that your head goes either side of the body. You can see he couldn't get out of the way. That means that they get impact there. Thankfully, arms are moving, legs are moving, which is always a very good sign. But in this day and age, we have to make sure that everything is spot on. But they feel confident with the medical staff.
And so does Dion Bird, and he's talking, and he's okay. And the referee has stopped the clock while Dion Bird receives the treatment. He will take a breather, I think. At least that will be the advice, but no, he bravely, and here again, yet another instance, an example of the sheer guts and determination that is running around Super League each and every week. Got a man playing with 10 stitches in a face wound for Warrington. Now we've got Dion Bird fully recovered, and it was head and feed to Warrington, courtesy of that kick downfield, and Wayne Price got a hand to it before it went over the line. So it's as good as a 40-20, that. John Clark finds Wainwright again. He goes through the hole, can't get the pass away. Mark Gleeson comes down the short side. Brother Martin on the end of the pass. Oh, Martin Gleeson gets away from the tackle of Bird, runs laterally. Sullivan, there's a big hit on Sullivan. Nutley and Danny Ward, not much bigger than that in the Castleford team. Clark and Breers, and wide they go on the bounce. Martin Gleeson gives it back to Brent Gross, and Brent Gross takes tackle number 4. Not much progress made forward then. Breers directing operations, goes down the short side, dab into the corner for Farfili to chase, beat everybody. He nearly ran into the camera then, straight down the lens.
That's all that Warrington have to do throughout the second half. Oh, nice sidestep there. I think Farfili just helped him to make sure that he didn't collide with that camera.
And how brave our cameraman, standing his ground as well. Could have been in the front row of the terrace.
They've got to test their arm a little bit now. The Tigers trying to bring a little bit more play in and around the ruck area. They haven't done much running from dummy half.
Nutley will play the ball to Andy Kane. Here is Davis. McGoldrick up the middle. Rahihi gets to him. Let's get news on Dion Bird. Sorry, Steve-O. Bill.
Dion Bird's had to leave the field. He bravely volunteered to carry on, but the decision has been taken. He couldn't continue. He's just feeling too groggy. So Richard Fayose has come on in his place, and Dion Bird has gone for a well-earned break.
Knock on here by Brad Davis, says the referee.
Good defence there by Lee Breers. We saw earlier, and this is the incident where we got the knock. It's always best to play safety first. You can see that there is a problem at the base of the neck.
And he actually missed a tackle in the movement leading up to that last Warrington attack. Saints striking back in the south of France. A knock-on going against Michael Sullivan, much to the displeasure of coach Paul Cullen.
Well, he was certainly being pulled about. Sullivan wanted to get on with it. And to be fair, Brad Davis got hold of his shirt.
McGoldrick for Castleford.
Well, just making that point, you know, whether with Warrington in defence, you always see that Lee Breers, way out on the right, he'll come up for the intercept, and that's where Castleford perhaps should be bringing someone back on the inside, because he'll leave a huge gap, Will Breers.
Andy Kane finds Ben Rorty. Davis again bounces off a couple, keeps going Brad Davis.
Well, all of a sudden now, Eddie, they're almost within range. 20 metres they can do something, the Tigers, but they have to work patiently, get up in the heel.
Andy Kane, it's a good run. It's halted by Mark Gleeson's tackle. Underneath the sticks. That was Danny Nutley. Here is McGoldrick. Finds its way to Willie Manu. Can he get the ball away around the corner? Yes, he can, but it goes back a bit. They lose some momentum. Now they'll regain it, courtesy of the pass to Gravy Arn from Michael Platt. Michael Platt keeps it going to Willie Manu. And Warrington stand firm, but this is the last tackle. And here is McGoldrick. McGoldrick flings it wide to Rorty. Great stuff from Reardon again. And that's a nothing kick from Paul Franzi.
Under a lot of pressure, and that's a reason why it was not a very good kick forward. Full credit to the Warrington defence.
This is his full debut, by the way, Paul Franzi. He was a former New South Wales under-17 and under-19 international and a junior kangaroo, but he joined from the London Irish Rugby Union Club last week. He had been at Cronulla previously, so his CV is all rugby league, apart from the London Irish spell. Farfili dancing away down the line. He's got Gleeson with it. Oh, a couple of dummies from Farfili finds Martin Gleeson. And Gleeson touches down for his second try of the night. And that's a little bit of a payback from Farfili to Martin Gleeson, because it's normally the other way round. Gleeson normally provides them for Farfili. On that occasion, Farfili returned the compliment for Martin Gleeson.
Very slow at the first marker, and Farfili took full advantage through the dummy. Was it forward? Oh, he certainly leaned. Did Martin Gleeson there? And maybe he's been very fortunate indeed. Take nothing away from Farfili's effort with the dummy, but that appeared a touch forward. Either way, it's on the scoreboard. Gleeson's got his number 2.
And they've gone the length of the field. Castleford's inability to keep the ball in play at one end has allowed Warrington to go to the other, and as I say, good sides with good speed can score from the halfway line. Warrington through Gleeson have just demonstrated that. Perhaps one or too many missed tackles, I should say, Eddie, from a Tigers point of view, but it is difficult. Players do seem to be tiring now as their second game in just a few days.
Indeed so. Martin Gleeson, his try. Lee Breers lining up the conversion. Gleeson really is world class. Breers has added the extra 2. It's 34 points to 6. Surely Warrington with the match in their pockets now.
Certainly do. You can see their poor marking, backs to the opposition, struggle across, and when they tried to fill in, Willie Manu was too slow as well. But I've got to say, this looks slightly forward. What did you do to the fact that Martin Gleeson had to lean to pluck it back in? He won't complain.
3 tries now for 2006 for Martin Gleeson. A career best 17 tries last year on his debut with Warrington. Short kick-off from McGoldrick. Try scorer is underneath it. And the tackle from Craig Hubie. 34-6 and a short kick-off.
Do you know, it was a good one, wasn't it? It just shows you it was a metre or 2 from where it needed to be, and that's all the difference at this level. Gleeson took it easily, unchallenged.
But it was about 40 minutes from when it should have been, shouldn't it? Brian, why do teams, do you think, when the game apparently on the scoreboard is gone, why do they revert to the short kick-off?
Well, Einstein's like myself and the coaching staff at most clubs deliberate over where you should kick the ball from kick-offs, etc, etc. And the reality is, you know, in the modern game, short kick-offs, there's a school of thought that do all short kick-offs as you might get the ball back. Because the time that the attacking team that gets the ball, here goes Breers.
Breers is away and there's a host following him up, and Gleeson's after the hat-trick. And Farfili has come up with it.
Well, what a cheeky try that is.
Well, Wayne Price missed that completely, but the referee wants to check whether it was a push. And if it's not a push, Henry Farfili has scored the try.
Well, Wayne Price was struggling,
didn't he, Farfili? He actually tripped.
Still a try, though.
I'm saying, but what amazing. Watch him here, he's tripped.
Yep, and it just pops up for him.
Oh.
Now, does he interfere? Farfili. Wayne Price, no, he doesn't there, but that's accidental. And that is TRY. Thank you very much indeed. That's the softest try. Great break from Lee Breers yet again.
So it's the video referee decision. Paul Cullen looks bemused, and the video referee says that Martin Gleeson pushed Wayne Price.
Did he?
Put his left hand just on his back.
Oh, dear me. He was just flicking off a fly that had landed on his number.
I suppose at 34-6 at the moment, anyway, although there's half an hour to go, I suppose the argument is fairly academic, but the video referee anyway, saying that I suppose that there's a chance that Wayne Price might have been able to ground the ball had he not been pushed and knocked off balance.
They've lost possession anyway. Fajoso couldn't keep hold of the football. Warrington, all they have to do now is just basically...
It's a mile forward.
Yeah. Oh, well, the touch judge should see that. The 50-50 and give that benefit of the doubt that you keep banging on about, Eddie.
John Clark, Lee Breers, another stab through. Wayne Price is there this time.
Good work
to collect
by the
it
winger.
cleanly.
Great work by the winger.
St Helens have been woken up in the south of France. They lead 10 points to 8. Good game though, obviously, down there again.
And they're getting great support. That's what I like about it. It's no flash in the pan.
Andy Kane.
Well, the last time a decision, should I say, went against Warrington, it was Castleford that took full advantage, got back into the game, and they're desperate to make sure that they get onto it. But they don't seem to even get over the advantage line. Good solid work from the forwards at times. But they're lacking a few ideas, I'm afraid.
Ben Rorty, and it is Michael Platt. A dab over the top from Michael Platt. He went down. Referee had a look at it, but said play on to Warrington. Here is Brent Gross.
I think that just gives you some indication that when the fullback got it, there was nowhere for him to go. No one was shouting. No one was sort of trying to help him run off the ball. He was left with no other option but try to dink it over the top.
I think there's a danger, Eddie, sometimes when your team go behind, you can try and win the game or get your side back into it by doing individual things, and that's because the Tigers players are trying so hard that they're desperate to come up with a big play that will help lift the side. But I suppose it's so hard, isn't it, with the scoreboard ticking against you. You try things, but if they don't come off, you can tend to go backwards.
Danny Nutley penalised for a high tackle on Logan Swan.
Well, he certainly went backwards, didn't he? He didn't miss, Danny Nutley. Swinging arm right into the mush.
And Mark Gleeson's facial wound is getting worse as Parker drives his way towards the line for Warrington. Held up short though.
I think Mr. Gross might get over this time.
Lee Breers on one knee, got it away to Likeville. Mark Gleeson, 10 metres away. This is Clark, finds Martin Gleeson. Tackling on that far side. Gleeson maybe didn't think so. Farfili. John Clark. Behind the back finds Breers. Oh, stab kick came off the heel of a Castleford defender and bounced very kindly for Paul Franze.
Not the best kick that we've seen from Lee Breers today. But look at that defence. That's the one thing that Paul Cullen will be quite happy with in this particular game. They've worked as a good unit. Gone up very solid indeed, and look at that, they're hunting.
Mark Gleeson has got to leave the field. His wound has opened up again. Well, surely that's the last we'll see of Mark Gleeson tonight.
Well, I'm not so sure, Eddie. They just put more stitches.
Oh, 10 in and it's opened up again, and off he goes and comes back. Surely not at 34-60, but not necessary.
You try to tell him. He wants to get out there as much as he can.
His coach will tell him, I'm sure.
They brought a young player on to replace him, Simon Gray. It's a talented one who they're expecting big things off from Warrington. Good game to come on, good circumstances. Let's see what he does defending alongside John Clark here.
Well, it's very difficult to work out what Castleford are trying to do. I mean, they've got the experience in Andy Henderson, the hooker there, but they really have not been trying to exploit Warrington's second marker. They're just not confusing Warrington at all.
Andy Kane with a neat little sidestep around Simon Griggs, got the kick in, collected by Brent Gross.
Surrender! Hold! No penalty!
Farfili. Reardon to the 20-metre mark.
It's been a busy Easter weekend, and I must say that all coaches were looking to try to rest as many players, and as you're right, Eddie, you mentioned 34 points to 6. I think it's well beyond the asking of Castleford to come back into it. So,
and they've got to go to Leeds on Friday, so they're the busiest of all of the clubs, aren't they?
Yeah, so I think that Paul Cullen perhaps will be saying, you don't have to overexert yourself, just let this fella control things with the kick and chase, which has been good throughout by the Wolves.
It has. Michael Plateau picks the ball up on the bounce, gives it to Wayne Price. They have lost the last 3 against Warrington, including the last 2 here at home, and they've got to go back to May 2002 for the last home win against Warrington. Castleford, 46 points to 24, and the former Warrington centre Michael Eager got 2 tries that day, with Wayne Bartrim kicking 7 goals. Griggs there, number 21 in the tackle, his Super League debut, substitute against London Scholars in the Cup. Libriers picks up an absolute gift. Oh, and he's playing with them. He got away with it. Had the tackle been effective and the ball come out of the grasp, I think Paul Cullen might have had words to say, but Briers again, right man, right time.
He reads it so well. I mentioned the fact that he's always looking for that intercept, and that's where Castleford have not been able to utilise. Someone coming back on a short one, cheekily gets in. I think we may see the last of Lee Briers in this game. I think Paul Cullen will say you've had a problem with that injured right leg, as you can see, heavily strapped, so maybe just to tweak it slightly. No point in risking him.
Lee Briers, as we look at this, is actually lining up the conversion attempt. Man of the match against Bradford, 3 goals. Missed the Salford match on Friday. And say what you like about this fellow, they do miss him at Warrington when he doesn't play. Briers adds the extras, and Warrington hit the 40 mark, 40 points to 6, and this Castleford night and this Castleford season and this Castleford defence gets no better.
Well, I think it's in and around, or hovering anyway, as around the 40 mark. That is for missed tackles. You cannot afford to miss 10, never mind 40 in a game of Super League.
Let's go down to Bill on the sideline. Some injury news, I think.
Well, Warrington only have 2 fit replacements on the sideline at the moment, because Toakui Love has been sitting out this second half. Looks like a knee injury he sustained. Left knee was heavily iced. The ice has gone, but he's being kept under wraps at the moment, and that's presumably the way that Paul Cullen is going to keep it. Mark Gleeson, of course, back in the dressing room having more stitches, so you've just got Paul Rahehi and Rob Parker manning the bench at the moment.
Knock on. Knock on. Is it against Simon Griggs? Yes, it is. By the way, you mentioned Lee Briers, Steve, as we watch this. He has scored over the years 150 points against Castleford, 9 tries, 54 goals, 7 drop goals against the Tigers, and he's added to his tally tonight by 16 more. It's amazing, isn't it, that certain players manage to score against certain clubs with monotonous regularity.
Well, if they give you gifts like that, I mean, he always reads it well. I mean, during the course of a season, you'd probably see Lee Briers make 10, sometimes 15 intercepts. It's nothing unusual for him.
And with the 2 injured players on the bench not able to come in or come back into the picture, according to Bill, I think we will see Mr. Briers stay out there for a wee while.
Well, you were saying if they're running out of subs, he's got no option.
That's a poor kick. It was a poor kick, though, from McGoldrick. It was well picked up by Reardon.
Eddie, I guess this game's not about Castleford winning anymore, but it's about working on the things they need to improve if they want to survive. Realistically, they're not competing with Warrington this season. At the moment, they're competing with Wigan to avoid the drop from relegation out in the division below. And if you take that sort of a view over it, the games left this season, they've just got to continue to work hard and try and improve that defence. It's hard, isn't it, because you tend to get fixated with the scoreboard in a game of rugby league. For the Tigers at present, really, the scoreboard's irrelevant. It's what they can do to improve their chances of staying in Super League, and giving away a penalty like that is obviously not one of them.
No, not one of them. That was a dangerous lift and carry.
Yep. And he just nearly lost his cool a little bit, Rorty, after the whistle was blown by Richard Silverwood. I must say, on the whole, he's refereed well.
Here's Michael Sullivan. This is Mike Wainwright. Oh, that's another one. That's got to be another one. The referee put the whistle.
No, he didn't continue with it. He just threw him to the ground.
The legs. That's another one. That's worse than the one that was just penalised. I'm sorry. Legs are above the horizontal, and he went down on the top of his shoulder.
Go clear it. Hold. Go.
It's all right for us up here.
Okay, move! Back!
You're right, I haven't had a bruise in 15 years. It's very difficult, though, for Terry Mattison. And it always is of a side that gets promoted coming into it. They don't have a great deal of time. And it gets back into that old adage about, you know, should we have relegation? Should we change it? Should we allow teams to build instead of just panic buying? And
well, they're supposed to be looking at all that.
Yeah.
There might be a change on the way, end of 2008, beginning 2009. It'll take some time to implement, won't it? And Farfili, he diffused that bomb in his own in-goal area. Tap on the 20. Warrington are looking to improve their points difference here, aren't they? But from a Castleford point of view, you know, they're looking to emulate Huddersfield and Salford by immediately bouncing back from relegation and managing to survive. But the defence has got to be tightened, and no one need to tell Terry Mattison that, Phil.
No, the teams that have been promoted tend to play better in the second half of the season. I guess they've learned, having been through the first 14 rounds, what's needed of them. But they do obviously have quite a lot to work on. I think that this game, though, is probably one. Oh no, he's going to get on the outside of him. Sullivan again slipping off tackles. Second game in a week. Too much for a side that have only recently been promoted, Eddie. That's the difference at the moment.
It is, but they've only spent the 1 year out of the top flight, remember, in their entire history.
And with a knock on, put the scrum down. I think you've also got to start thinking now, and I'm sure that the Castleford players, Terry Mattison himself, will be targeting certain games, and that, it's not negative thinking. In fact, it's positive thinking, because he's got to know it's all about survival now, and they've got to say, well, we can win this and we can that. Okay, we'll put up good efforts against the top sides, but they have to pinpoint who they can beat.
Good charge down the wing here from Paul Franze, and he's got Luke Dyer with him, but the pass was above head height. Never mind any tackles, the pass was above the head.
Went through the dummy and then just took a chance.
Didn't Brett Gross do well, though? He just made the decision more difficult for Franze by backing off, and eventually players want their opposing fullback to make them decide easily, quickly, ball to the supporting carry. He backed off, and Franze couldn't execute the skill.
Tell you what, Brian, you know, when you think about his background in rugby league, he's had this period in rugby union with London Irish. We talk about the fact that the Castleford Tigers, it's a big step into Super League. It's a big step for Paul Franze to regain fitness, full match fitness for Super League, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the games are different. He's spent some time in rugby union. It's a different type of fitness, rugby league. It's very, very difficult to try and prepare yourself for that. It's game time that's going to get him up to speed. And you can see there, you know, his engine was exploding, but he hadn't run that far in rugby union for a long time.
Well, Terry Mattison, you know, has banned all talk of relegation in his dressing room. He has set himself higher goals because, as a player, he was a born winner.
Well, he'll have to change his attitude to the fact that I've just explained to you. Pinpoint what you can, the teams that you really can take to the end of the game.
Well, would Wigan be one of those, Steve-O? I guess
Well,
whoever becomes the next Wigan coach might be looking at the Tigers as their the team that they're chasing to avoid relegation.
Well, they've already beaten Wigan here.
Is that a try?
Well, it's a real mix-up here into the corner. Everybody's looking at each other. Well, I'm not right sure. I certainly... Was it kicked from me?
Was the Warrington player touching
well,
it?
It's dead in goal. No try.
Well, that's what you say, some of the decisions tonight.
No, we're right with that one, Eddie.
Even Jerry couldn't get this wrong.
So the try is not given. Quarter of an hour to go.
And let's not forget.
The only reason I can think that Mr. Silverwood has passed that on to Jerry Kershaw is that both he and his touch judge on this side were unsighted. Never mind, not convinced. Didn't see what happened.
Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? If you're unsighted, you're unconvinced. Either way, we've got the electronics for them to look at it. Why not? They've got to keep the standard high as well.
That was Andy Kane. This is Rorty. Tried to get the ball around the corner.
Oh, he's losing his rag, I'm afraid, Rorty.
Noon did well then. Here's Reardon.
He was looking for a big hit there. He lashed out with the left boot. Very fortunate that he didn't contact. He could have been in for an early shower there.
And it's a really good test of Warrington's concentration. You know, we know the game's over, the game's almost dead, isn't it? But can they play for the 80 minutes? Can they still execute the things that they've practiced last week and a few days before they've gone into this game?
This is Clark. It goes wide to Martin Gleeson. Oh, brilliant pass to Farfili. Farfili comes back and will score underneath the posts or thereabouts. Second try for Henry Farfili. But a brilliant piece of handling skill once again from Martin Gleeson down that right-hand side.
Well, this is what we've been wanting to see from Gleeson for a long, long time. He's been overshadowed by the opportunities of Lyon, the way that he gets his wingers away. But Martin Gleeson is back big time.
Well, if you're a young
beautiful pass.
If you're a young centre, Steve-O, watching rugby league and wanting to get better, watch everything that Martin Gleeson does when he has the ball in his hands. As Brian Noble pointed out, can beat his opponent on the inside, can beat him on the outside. Again, you're starting to see the pace that this Warrington side have, scoring longer range tries than the Tigers are able to in this game. And that class showing through Farfi.
Brian, in wearing your cap as the Great Britain coach, you must be pretty pleased the way that Gleeson is at top form this season.
It's pleasing to see those silky skills, you know, on finishing. And what about the afterburner on Henry Farfili there? He really finished that particularly well. But yeah, it's good to see all the British players playing well. I think, you know, young Yeaman at Hull is the standout at the moment in the centres, and all of a sudden we're getting 2 or 3 centres now to give Martin a bit of competition.
Henry Farfili with the try. That's try number 12. It's been a one-way procession, really. 8 tries, and the Tigers mascot looks like he's having a pretty bad Easter, because we've seen also several of the supporters making their way to the exit. And of course they lost against Wakefield on Friday, but he's still got a smile on his face. Mind you, I think that's a fixed grin.
I'm going to say, Eddie, you can't change it.
No. Smile through
unless somebody
the adversity.
Gives him a good kick in the teeth. That may change it somewhat, but a lot of good things will come out of this game for Warrington. Paul Cullen will be very pleased the way that they've kicked back. It was not the best performance, evidently, against Salford, but their defence has been solid. Can't say the same for the Tigers, unfortunately.
No, indeed. Here's Simon Griggs again, and I mentioned Warrington's for and against column. Prior to this round and prior to today, only Harlequins and Wigan had scored fewer tries than Warrington's 32. Well, they're up to 40 now this year. courtesy of this, and there's still 10 minutes remaining. There's chance for some more, maybe. Gross is after this. He's not scored yet this season. They're going to get another set of 6.
Well, you can see there that Paul Franz is out on his feet completely. There's a big ask for him. The pace of Super League is not easy. And full credit to him, he got there. He just whipped over to the in-goal area. And I think quite a few people here will be happy to hear the hooter. It really has been a demolition by this Warrington outfit. But can they stop becoming the yo-yo side, Eddie?
Well, they're doing so well away that they now have to start winning at home. Yeah. 10 minutes to go. Warrington 46-6. They are home and hosed, really. This is Martin Gleeson again. His brother's off with a facial injury. That was nearly another one for him.
He nearly took his head off.
And Parker! Good defence at 46-6. Credit Castleford for that. Sullivan. This is Paul Wood. This is Paul Wood. And Paul Wood gets another for Warrington. They've hit the 50 mark. Paul Wood, the latest try for Warrington, try number 9, and he has had a great season so far, this young man. The only Wolves man to make the March team of the month, and he's playing on top of his form.
He fully deserved that because of the effort in the first half, especially in the opening 15 minutes, when he was eager to take the ball. He's got a great fend, wonderful upper body strength. Look at that, get out of the way. Oh, fully deserved.
Well, the Warrington supporters that I spoke to before the game, Eddie, thought that Paul Wood was their player of the season to date. He really has been impressive for them. Shows good strength and good footwork, and he's one of the quickest front rowers playing that goal line dropper. You just got the feeling that the Tigers wouldn't be able to hold out for the 6 tackles, and Wood went over. You talk about them not being a yo-yo side as this kick goes over, I'm sure, from Breers. Yes, it does. On into the touch judges. Well, the next game is a massive test for Warrington, and I think a gentleman who's here with us tonight might just be able to tell us a little bit about that. Don't they entertain the Bradford Bulls at the Halliwell-Jones Stadium?
They certainly do, and they beat us last week, and it was just like Groundhog Day with one of Breers' tries to separate the teams, in essence. You know, he's very good. To get those kind of intercept tries, you've got to be in the line and sniffing those kind of things. So the Halliwell-Jones will be buzzing and rocking, and the Bradford Bulls are going there to try and, you know, rectify the fact that we didn't get 2 points at home.
Indeed so, as McGoldrick gets the game underway again. 52 points to 6. That'll be it's Warrington's best score of the season, I think, apart from the cup tie against the Scholars. In the Super League, it's a great effort. Farfeely and St Helens.
Boy, got it away, good work.
St Helens just inching slightly further ahead of the Catalan Dragons. This is Parker.
Move.
Michael Sullivan. It's Wood.
Second, move, Matt.
Just will not stop this fellow, will he?
Sullivan.
Wood is just looking for
Griggs on the break.
Oh, he's away.
Gets the ball to Rahihi. And big Paul Rahihi over under the post for Warrington. Well, he's waited a long time to get into the team, Paul Rahihi, and he has had to be patient, so has his coach. But Paul Rahihi is just starting to deliver for Warrington.
Great work from Sullivan. He really has enjoyed the last 15 minutes as he's gone into the half-back position. Griggs was a beautiful offload. It looked as though it had all stopped. Oh, that's a wonderful inside pass. What about that one? Ah, beautiful. Yes, Rahihi.
Well, they've gone the length of the field, haven't they? And that's a worry really now for the Tigers. The strength and performance of Warrington in the second half this season has been very impressive. The fitness and the determination, maybe a little bit of a rollicking from Paul Cullen has made the difference. They've been an outstanding second half team, and they've maintained it almost for 80 minutes here at the Jungle.
Breers is bang in front again. 56-6, 10 tries, 58-6. Breers with yet another goal. 9 for him. And Paul Rahihi, the New Zealand international, just had too much strength then for this Castleford defence. Well, they began the day, didn't they, with, did I say 60 in 9? It's now 70 conceded tries in 10 rounds of the Super League.
It looks a battered Tiger, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but he's at the far end of the ground next to our camera position, and he is watching an annihilation here by the Wolves. These are worrying times for the Tigers and their supporters, their coach and their players. And they've got to go to Leeds on Friday, Steve-O.
It won't be easy for them.
Good Lord.
Full credit, though, to these Castleford fans. They stuck with him last year. And I think they realise that once you start losing so many games and you miss so many tackles, it's only obvious that when you're opposite a side that's got the likes of Martin Gleeson, Farfili, but more to the point, the way that Lee Breers and Michael Sullivan, they've combined well.
Well, I think Lee Breers has won about 2 or is it 3 Gillette Sports Packs this year as man of the match. I wonder if he's going to get number 4. Dave Hadfield has the answer.
Certainly not a good night for Castleford. Only the likes of Willie Manu, Richard Farrell, so occasionally threatening for them. For Warrington, we've been very impressed with the right-wing combination, Henry Farfili, Martin Gleeson, but we've been boring and predictable. At the end of the day, it has to be Lee Breers yet again.
Well, you've just seen another try go in against the Castleford Tigers, scored by Rob Parker, the England international. And there is the man of the match, and the crowd here don't know it yet. They will shortly.
Wonderful work from Sullivan. Showed all the skills. Beautiful step off the left foot. And great support play there by Parker. It's becoming a procession. That shows you the quality of this fella. He's enjoyed it, as I say, the last quarter of an hour against a very tired Tiger outfit. But don't take that away from Parker. He'll enjoy that. Great work from Sullivan.
Lee Breers for 10 goals in Super League in a match, which equals the club record in the competition set by Graham Appo a few years ago. Lee Breers looks at the big screen and knows he's won another Man of the Match award. And there was a little shake of the head then as he ran back, I can tell you, and a smile. Well, I don't know how much space he's got in his house, but
well, yeah,
he'll need it for the sports pack.
I think he realises that the work from the forwards has been absolutely superb.
Yeah, but it's always the fancy Dans, isn't it? The half-back and the three-quarters Brian who come up with the Man of the Match awards.
Yeah, and it's interesting there. What about the speed of Rob Parker right at the very end there? He's a big front rower and a big smile on his face when he gets down there. So the fancy Dans tend to get the plaudits, but they can't do that without the big blokes doing their stuff.
2 minutes to go. Another penalty in Warrington's favour. I think they're looking for 70.
I think you're right. In the way that the Tigers have defended, I don't think they're going to stop them either.
Here's Parker again. They started off with a lot of vim and vigour, Castleford, didn't they? But the wind was quickly taken out of their sails. They were 16-0 down after as many minutes, but they were making it a contest then, but it's just fallen away in the second half.
When you play 2 games over the Easter period, you've got to look for superior fitness that'll take you through that second game, and we've seen the difference between the two sides, and it is just down to that fitness. They'll be happy to just drive this ball up with the Tigers and then just the kick and chase.
They'll be happy to hear that hooter, won't they, Steve?
Yeah,
I think if it was a boxing match, it would have been stopped a while ago, really. an unfair contest for the last 15 minutes, really.
In the last minute of the match, we are watching, sadly, a club record home defeat for Castleford in all games in their history. And for Warrington Wolves, it is their biggest ever away win in the Super League. 64 points to 6. An historic night for both clubs for totally different reasons. And Brad Davis at 38 cuts a disconsolate figure on the bench.
Well, fair play to Davis that he's offered his services. And he had retired last year, of course, and it just shows you the problems that not only Castleford but a lot of other teams are struggling with injuries.
Yes, the grounds have been very soft with the rain and the mud, but now they're firming up a bit. No one's in any great rush to pack the scrum, so I think we'll call it a day, fellas, and the handshakes have started already. Warrington have won 64-6, Rahihi, with the last of the Warrington tries and frustration amongst the Castleford supporters, but absolute delight for Warrington Wolves travelling support. Where now for Huddersfield? Well, they go to Headingley on Friday. That's where to take on the Leeds Rhinos. It is an enormous task, but Castleford always try and give a good account of themselves at the Rhinos, their big and illustrious neighbours. We've got the man of the match with us. Here's Bill.
Lee, you looked almost embarrassed when it popped up on the screen. Another man of the match award. What was that about?
It's just, I think it's the forward just went immense again. You know, and I'm just at the end to finish stuff off. The forwards led the platform. Paul Wood, Big Chris, and Paul Ryan and Rob Parker, I thought were brilliant again. We knew it was going to be a tussle because they got some big hits as they led the platform.
Well, that's what Brian Noble said up in commentary. You know, the fancy Dans get all the accolades, but it's the grunt that matters.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they get paid for, and probably a bit embarrassed against Salford because giving 10-0 away from Salford, they're a real good side, and they come and give it to us. And they had a lot of questions to answer, and they answered them, I thought, tonight.
Well, exactly. I mean, this was the perfect way to respond to that, wasn't it?
Of course it was, yeah. It happened last year when we got beat by Salford. Hopefully, touch wood, things will happen again the same as they did last year. But we know it's a long road in front of us. It's a tough season. If you're not on form every week, you're going to get turned over.
Well done on another man of the match performance anyway.
Thanks very much. Yes.
Well, Coach Paul Cullen's with us as well, and as he said, you know, you needed to bounce back after Good Friday, and that's the perfect way to do it.
Unfortunately, Bill, we've got a habit of putting ourselves in this situation over the Easter period. You know, pacing on a Good Friday and a big win for us on Easter Monday. So, you know, the players will get confidence from opening up a little bit today. The weather's come good, the track's a little bit firmer and faster, and hopefully some signs in there that we can come good and improve on that.
Well, the fans, the supporters at home are going to be sitting there saying, OK, why can't you do this at the Hallowell Jones?
Oh, because Salford won't let us, to be fair. They're outstanding in defence.
But not just Salford, though.
Well, no, you know, we're just not as confident there at the moment. But we're just going to keep pushing hard and working hard. Some of the plays that didn't quite work against Salford worked like a dream today. And the margins are tight. You know, if we put the ball, you know, on the floor as much in the in goal as we did against Salford, you know, you don't get those chances coming around very often. We're in the in goal 3 or 4 times and knocked on or got pushed in touch. And against a side that's as determined as them, you've got to make those scores. If not, they inflate and get stuck in, and they did that, and they took the points off us.
Just briefly, how about a double over Bradford?
Well, we've got to work very hard. We know that Bradford, you know, have got a point to prove. You know, if Warrington can beat Bradford, then Salford can beat Warrington. It's that tight these days. And you know, we just got to roll our sleeves up. 1 or 2 bumps and bruises today. A couple of guys got knocked out of it. It's a tough period over Easter. We've got to make sure we're in good health and in good spirits, and that win will go a long way towards helping us to get that.
Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome. Cheers, Bill.
Well, we've got a scoreline coming in from the Catalan Dragons and St Helens. And, well, it looks like the Catalan bubble has burst. They were 8-0 up at one stage, but now it's 26-8 to the league leaders. But here at the Jungle tonight, we've seen a record away win for Warrington in Super League, and we've seen the Castleford Tigers' biggest ever home defeat in all games, and that really sums the night up. It was a lopsided scoreline. Brian Noble is here with us, with Phil, Steve-O and me. Brian, of course, of the Bradford Bulls. A more competitive match tomorrow?
Oh, I would think so, but, you know, as a coach, you know, I mean, Terry Matheson will be disappointed, but you work on week-by-week performance and improvements through the week, and that's all you can do really. Focus on what perhaps you did right and what you did wrong, and try and improve them for next week, and they will improve, you know, and that's the goal. I think we were talking and discussing on the gantry there whether you target certain games, etc., etc. I think that's a little bit difficult because that can go badly wrong. You've got to perform probably to your best most weeks, and that week in, week out improvement, as Terry will go for, they'll try for that. And it's the same for Paul Cullen. You know, they were beaten 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and now they've turned that around with, you know, with his influence and with his attention to detail and looking what they can do. And as he says, sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. It's a very competitive Super League this year.
It is a competitive Super League, and perhaps for the poor old Castleford Tigers, Phil, it's a bit too competitive.
I think one thing that you find is it's difficult to be consistent in sport, and especially when you move up a league, whatever sport that be and whatever level you're at. Once you move up to a higher level, it's hard to be consistent every single game. The Tigers have found that at times this season, and we've seen them not at the best here today. In fact, I don't think they'll play a lot worse than that. The number of missed tackles they came up with was astonishing, really, by their own standards. They will play a lot better, and they'll improve, and I think at times this season they'll beat teams. And that's the amazing thing, isn't it? We'll see a result one day when we weren't covering it for Sky Sports, and we'll think, how have the Tigers won against a team like that in Super League? But it will happen, and they'll do it. They've just got to pick themselves up, and that's the hard thing. When all the fans are telling you that you're rubbish and all your supporters are booing you, it's hard for the coach then to maintain some confidence in the boys and lift the team for the next match.
It won't be easy though, and I must say that Castleford, Phil was alluding to the fact that they missed so many tackles. In fact, it was 65, which to my knowledge is probably a record. It's not good reading as far as Terry Matheson is concerned, but Warrington, to be fair, they were very, very good. I thought Farfili must have given Breers a well-earned run for the man of the match. Maybe touch slight forward, but it just emphasises the fact that they just gleefully run through. You could see there the first and second markers, and that is the region where they were struggling, especially in the second half. I think the fitness played its part as well, and I think that Warrington, yes, if they can get away from this yo-yo tag, they may just frighten quite a few of them in the top six.
It's all over here at the Jungle. A big defeat for Castleford, big win for Warrington. 20 minutes to go in the south of France. St Helens are ahead by 32 points to 8 now. I think it's all over for the Catalan Dragons. So we'll bring you confirmation of that tomorrow. You can also, of course, pick up confirmation of that on Sky Sports Text and Sky Sports News later tonight. Join us at Odsal for the last match of our grand Easter tour. Bradford against Huddersfield. It's an 8 o'clock start on Sky Sports 1. Brian Noble's last match in charge at Bradford. We shall see. As he's told us earlier today, he will make his decision known over the next 24 hours. Friday, Leeds against Castleford again, 7:30 Sky Sports 1. And Saturday, Huddersfield-Wigan. Brian Noble's first match in charge. We shall see. Keeping very tight-lipped at the moment, but thanks for being here nonetheless and coming to join us tonight. And we'll see you at Odsal, I hope, tomorrow. Bye-bye.
The Super League on Sky Sports in association with Stan James, the sport.
Live on Sky Sports, European Cup semi-finals. Saturday 12:30, the European Challenge Cup. Gloucester face Worcester. At 2:30, the first Heineken Cup semi. French champions Biarritz take on Bath. Sunday 12:30 the second Challenge Cup semi, Newcastle v London Irish, and at 2:30 in the Heineken Cup, Leinster take on Munster. All 4 semis live only on Sky Sports in association with Ford Ranger.
Je sais, le passé revient.
The Citroën Zara Picasso, it's Britain's favourite MPV. Buy one now and save up to £4,000. Citroën Zara Picasso. Spiffing.
Rock and roll!
Get in.
Who are they?
Oh, I'm just sorting out my car insurance. Hey? I call the AA team. They search over 20 insurance companies to find me their best quote.
Right, that's 40% less, with a full money-back guarantee if you find a cheaper quote.
That's nice, man. That's very nice, man. That's very, very nice, man.
To find out if you could save up to 40%, call the AA team. Here to get you a better deal.
Got heartburn? Get Gaviscon Cool tablets in a convenient new pack. Heartburn relief has never been handier.
Don't blow piles out of all proportion. Get soothing relief with Germaloid's HC spray.
Why settle for a credit card balance transfer of 0% that doesn't last long enough? Right now, no one else gives you a longer 0% balance transfer than Capital One's Platinum Card. 0% on balance transfers until August 2007. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
There's a new alternative way to help get rid of head lice effectively, and you can get it from pharmacies and supermarkets now. It's Full Marks Solution. Just leave it on for 10 minutes, then thoroughly comb the head lice out. Easy, and there's no nasty chemical smell. That's why Full Marks is Mum's #1 choice for head lice treatment.
Be a high rate saver. Just invest a little money and you know it's gonna go real far. Do yourself a favor. So deposit every month and take advantage of our AER. It's much better than your savings jar.
Save monthly for a year and get 7% with a Halifax Regular Saver.
I'm stuck in my car with a headache which feels like this when I try to move my head and just keeps thumping away like this. But I've taken Nurofen, which speeds straight to the source of pain, so I feel like my headache's washing away like this.
Freedom for backs. Heat patches from Nurofen.
Is it in a garage? This car is way too beautiful to be in a garage. This car is a work of automotive art.
Chevrolet Corvette. Tequila Sunrise. Number of seats? 2.
I've got some important news. I'm pregnant.
Can I call you back?
Hello, can I get a quote on a people carrier?
New improved reactions change more quickly. So you only need one pair of glasses for all conditions. And now at Specsavers, you can have reactions free.
Hi, I'm Ricky Gervais. I've got 30 seconds to tell you about my episode of The Simpsons, starring me, written by me. It's about me. Me and The Simpsons? Say mine. Other people were involved. On the telly? Yeah, I can get this. I'm a professional.
Join Ricky Gervais this Sunday from 5 on Sky One.
Watch me in a brand new episode of The Simpsons. Sky Plus it. Or tape it, if you're a loser.
This is Sky Sports Live.
Happiness at the Hawthorns, a 17th place Premiership finish and a determination to do better next time round. The problem for Brian Robson and West Brom is that they've done worse this season than last. If they're going to make a move, it needs to be now.